could please just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Thank you. I'm Culver Kid III, better known locally as Rusty Kid. Born here in Milledgeville, raised here in Milledgeville. Went to grammar school at GMC, Baldwin High School. Played a little football, played quarterback at Baldwin High School. Finished my high school education in a prep school up in Chattanooga in the Baylor School. From there I left with a football scholarship, basketball scholarship, University of Tennessee. I graduated up there with a BS in finance in '69. I took that finance degree, went to Florida as a banker in Pensacola, Florida. Realized I wanted to come back to Georgia and come back home, so I came back to Georgia in like '71 and moved back into Milledgeville in '71. Then in 1972 was offered a position as head of government affairs for the Medical Association of Georgia in Atlanta as a lobbyist for all the doctors in the state, the medical doctors in the state. So I went there and didn't know at the time I went I was going to stay as their chief lobbyist for 16 years. And from there I left them and remained as a lobbyist in the government affairs area, worked for a number of different corporations, associations, etc. For a total of 38 years of lobbying experience before I came back and ran for the legislature here last year and was fortunate enough to be elected by the people of 65-35 percent vote and was elected last year to the House of Representatives. It was a special election due to the retirement of Bobby Parham, who had been in the legislature for 35 years. He retired to serve on the Department of Transportation Board. So it was a special election to fill the vacated seat for the 1 year. So therefore I'm running again to the legislature right now. Just it seems like a few months ago I ran before. And my election as an independent will be on the November ballot, November 2nd. I have one Democratic opponent, no Republican opponent. And here again I'll be running as independent, incumbent independent, the Georgia legislature.
Right. And can you tell me why last year in the special election, but also this year that you're running for this office?
I had a very good job as a government affairs person, my own company, representing some good major U.S. corporations and Georgia associations, making pretty good money. But I realized that Milledgeville was hurting. Milledgeville lost 5,000 jobs in the last 2 years or so. And while I might not be able to do something better than somebody else that might be elected, I felt like I might be able to do it quicker because of my experience at the Capitol. I having been around the Capitol and knowing all the people, how laws are made and passed and so forth. And so I felt like, mainly because I knew the people, that I might be able to get some help down here quicker than somebody else could, and that's why I ran.
You mentioned that there are a number of issues in Milledgeville, Baldwin County, as well as for across the whole state. But for you, Rusty Kid, what is the biggest issue both Milledgeville and the state of Georgia are facing right now?
Principally it's Milledgeville, in Baldwin County and this area. We've lost a lot. 100 years ago, there were more patients at Central State Hospital than the other style hospital in the world. They had over 12,500 patients down there. Now there are less than 3,000 patients down there. Of course, society's changed a lot, treatment's changed a lot. We have more prisoners now than do mental health patients. And the way things are changing, we've had, a lot of that's been changed. And Milledgeville has depended too long on state employees. And now we need to get some of those state employees back that we've lost, knowing we're not going to replace them all. But at the same time, try to find some way to get the manufacturing jobs back to Milledgeville that we've also lost to Mexico and other places, and the economy be like it is. And so the economy having all of Georgia losing jobs, to be honest with you. Milledgeville suffering with a 16% unemployment, one of the top three counties in the state as far as the unemployment rate right now. And so while unemployment is major to the whole state, it's important to Milledgeville big time.
Right, and I have a feeling you might have touched upon this in your last response, but I want to ask you from a different perspective. What do you feel are the biggest either single issue or issues facing the electorate in the 141st House District?
You can't go down the street without somebody talking about jobs. Jobs, jobs, jobs. That's what they're talking about. Be it jobs, state jobs, or be it private sector jobs. Because it affects everybody, every single segment of the population. It affects every daycare center. It affects every real estate, resale store. It affects Walmart. It affects Kmart. It affects every restaurant. I was talking to a lady today that her restaurant has been voted #1 in the state for years, won awards. It's down 30%. She also owns a trust business for rebuild houses. It's down 90%. A salon that people own is down 30%. And it's strictly because there aren't enough people that have enough money to go spend like they used to. School teachers have been furloughed. Highway patrolmen have been furloughed. All state employees have been furloughed. And when you're furloughed, you're not only off that day, you don't get paid for that day. So your gross income is less. And so people are really scrambling to try to make ends meet. And so rather than going out to McDonald's or to a fancy restaurant, they're eating peanut butter and jelly like I had to do when I was in college, so to speak, and didn't have any money. So that's what people are doing throughout the state and throughout Milledgeville, is trying to make ends meet. And well, the state's got to buckle its belt more than we have in the past. Figure out how to stop state spending, runaway state spending, without at the same time passing it down to the counties to raise taxes locally or statewide to come up with lost revenue. We've got to replace the lost revenue, but not on the county taxpayers' back.
Okay. With the number of issues that you mentioned there and the other issues that have gone undiscussed thus far in this conversation, what will your first priority be when you go into Atlanta on the first day of this next 2-year session?
Well, we're going to have not only a new governor, but we're going to have at least seven new constitutional officers, if not 8. The only constitutional officer that might be the same as lieutenant governor. We're going to have a new governor, we're going to have a new secretary of state, new attorney general, new commissioner of agriculture, new commissioner of insurance, new commissioner of labor. So we're going to have a lot of new faces running state government. One of the first things that I'll do is try to make sure that I meet with all of them, communicate with them, make sure they know where Milledgeville is, know what Milledgeville is, and the desire that I and Milledgeville have to work with them, not only to help them in their programs, but to help us down here in our programs. So if they know of an industry wanting to move to Georgia, that they might route them toward Milledgeville, so the new industry will come to Milledgeville rather than to another area of the state. Milledgeville hasn't done a good job in that, to be honest with you, in the past, where Dublin's gotten 400 jobs 6 months ago. Thomaston got 450 jobs. South Georgia got 1,400 jobs. Milledgeville needs to be out there beating the doors down for these companies to come to Milledgeville and look around and move into Milledgeville. Milledgeville's got more to sell than most counties. We got a good airport. We got a good hospital. How many towns in Georgia have 3 colleges? Very, very few. We got 3 colleges here. So we got super education. We got super recreation. Major cities are only 45 minutes to an hour and a half away. We got the lake. So we've got basically everything anybody could ask for except sitting on top of an interstate. We do have 4-lane transportation, 2 major interstates. So we've got a lot to sell here. We just need to get out there and sell it to the corporations that are wanting to move south, moving to Georgia. Look at the economy in New York. Look at the economy in California. People are closing down their plants and moving. We need to get them to move to Milledgeville. Retirement communities, people in Florida now are scared of oil, they're scared of hurricanes. So elderly people are closing down and selling their beachfront property in Florida, moving north, moving to Greensboro. We need them to stop in Baldwin County and move on Lake Sinclair rather than Lake Oconee. So our Chamber of Commerce, City Council, our county commissioners, our economic development, and yes, our state senator and myself as state representative, hopefully re-elected, we all need to get together and do a better job at getting these people to move into Baldwin County, to look at Baldwin County, rather than go somewhere else.
All right. And I'm going to pull it back now and allow yourself to put a plug in for yourself. Why should the electorate in Baldwin County and a little bit of Putnam vote for Rusty Kidd?
Here again, I was elected last December. Legislature started in January, so I didn't have a whole lot of time between December being elected and the legislature starting. I think we accomplished a pretty good bit in the short time of me being a first-time legislature in the first 4 months, basically 4 months of my being elected. We are proud to say that we were able to secure state jobs. We'll have at least 1,200 new state jobs here in Baldwin County between now and this time next year. By the end of next year, we'll have 1,200 new state jobs here. We accomplished that by working with other legislators in Atlanta and the governor and other people to secure these positions here in Baldwin County. That's just a start. Now we need to shift over to the private sector and get private jobs to come back down here to replace the jobs we lost at Rheem and so forth. And that's my prerogative, or not prerogative, that's my objective right now, is to bust buns, stir the pot, go up and find some industry to come down here. I plan to meet with Sam Nunn again. I've talked to him over the phone. I plan on talking to him again about helping not only GMC, but trying to help us lure maybe some military industry aspect to Baldwin County. And contact the people not only in the state, but also in Washington and around the country that know Milledgeville, that love Milledgeville, and bend every resource that we can come up with to try to lure industry down here. I've talked to somebody at Boeing just 2 days ago, that if they're getting ready to close a plant in Macon that I understand they might be doing, let's move it to Milledgeville. And here again, try to get a military source job here. Anything we can come up with to move here. So we've got new state jobs coming. We know that. We know we're going to get a new IDC here. We know that we're going to open up the Kid Med-Surg building for the prisoners. We know we're getting a 1,500 bed prison here that'll probably expand to 2,500 bed prison. We know that's coming. Now we need to get the private sector jobs. And if I can be as successful as I was in securing state jobs here next year, maybe I can be just as successful to get private jobs here the next year. That's my main interest.
And how can people get involved in your campaign? How can they reach out to you? Are there any opportunities for people to become involved?
I most definitely love for people to. I do have an office in downtown Milledgeville. It's open 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, and from 8:30 to 5:30. And if my car's out front, it's open up later than that. It's at 102 South Wayne Street. The phone number here is 478-452-1354. I do have a website. It's www.rustykid.com. And so they're welcome to go on our website and see the address and phone numbers, fax numbers, and et cetera, email address, and so forth. But we put up 12 signs today, large signs. We'll put up 100 small yard signs the next 10 days. All of my signs only go up in places where I have personally talked to the owner of the property, and they've asked me to put a sign up in their yard. You won't see any of my signs nailed to a telephone pole. We're just stuck at the corner of an intersection. They're all in someone's private residence or a piece of property that someone owns that asked me to put a sign up. That shows to me involvement by the citizens of Baldwin County, and that's the way I want it to always be that way. So I look and anxiously wait for people to call, come by, pick up signs, make phone calls, make a political contribution too. It does cost money to run, so I accept any contribution somebody wants to give me, and so forth. But we look forward to working with everybody that we can.
All right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.